great friend Ammon Bundy joins us now on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.
Morning, Kevin. How are you doing?
Hey, man, I'm still employed, and you?
I'm still, trying to make money, but I got these dogs on me all the time, so it's kind of hard. I'm glad you're employed still.
Well, thank you. It's been a long time, and you certainly have been in the news.
Yeah, do you think I have the government I deserve?
Well, look, I don't want to get the Mr. Bundy treatment from the government that I deserve, so I'm just going to let that one go.
All right. Well, I was wondering because I've been trying to be really active, in government, and anyway, I don't know that I've made a difference at all.
Well, can I say one thing about you, sir?
Sure, sure.
And I'm not Pete Santelli. I'm not the goofs across the street. But as you know, you meet with a lot of people, and people promise you up and down. And I can remember you were the nicest person to me when I met you in Bunkerville, and you haven't changed at all. And my own personal opinion with this is, and you please disagree with me, is I think you've been left holding the bag on all of this. I've told that to Tea Party Bob many times, and he yells at me, but I think you didn't leave. You got into a fight, which most of these fights, except for your dad's, had nothing really to do with you immediately. You stepped in where you didn't really have to.
Yeah. And I lived clear down south of Phoenix, Arizona, when the thing about my dad came up, but I just, I couldn't stand by and let that happen to my family. It was pretty dangerous for them. And anyway, I do appreciate you saying that, Kevin. And I don't know, I can't claim that I'm a victim because I could have just stayed home. I could have just stayed home and done nothing and continued my really, really good life that I had. And, now I'm almost a fugitive from my own government and just trying to stand up. So anyway, I'm sure everybody sees it differently, and I don't, that's the rights we have to be able to see things differently. But anyway, we have lots of trouble, lots of problems that we're facing, and I think that I'm a good example of why people don't stand up, why they just stay home, because this is what happens to you if you do. And if you don't let things go, if you just keep pushing and keep pushing and keep standing, then you end up, in the situation that I'm in right now. And people.
Pardon the interruption, but they're going to make an example out of you. That's the whole deal.
Yeah, and if people allow them to, and when you really unwind it, all I did, was speak out, express, point the finger at what was happening that was wrong, and because I, pointed the finger to very powerful and very wealthy people that are very connected in both government and in the with tremendous finances, they're using the law to try to crush me and use an example. I mean, anyway, and again, as much as I would like to, I can't claim that I'm a victim because I could have avoided all of this. I could have just stayed home and kept my mouth shut.
Yeah, and that's the fascinating thing here that we've documented on KIDO Talk Radio. I still go back to that documentary. I can't remember what it's called. I think American Patriot. You're sitting in your house in Emmett after, again, by the grace of God, getting out of Barack Obama's prison. And, we can go back to how you were treated in prison. You had done enough. And again, I do believe God got you out of that one. Then you go to Oregon, and God got you out of that one. And then here in Idaho, we've got the mask stuff, and you find yourself running for governor, and then getting drawn back in. Has anybody ever said, Ammon, you've done enough? Go pick some apples in Emmett.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people, but how? Things with the baby Cyrus, and we don't have to go into the details, but I couldn't stay home, Kevin. This was a good friend of mine, and I knew this baby. I had held this baby when he first came home, and many, many times. I knew this family. How could I possibly stay home when I have a voice, when I could bring the attention that needs to be brought to the case to get this baby home? Like, I can't do that. I mean, I can't. Not only is it against my nature, but it's immorally wrong for me to. It would have been morally wrong for me to stay home.
Well, and here's where everybody's calling on cooler heads to prevail. You've got people like the political potatoes or whoever else saying that in the media trying to say that this is going to be another Ruby Ridge and everything else. How do you respond to that?
Well, when you look at Ruby Ridge, the terrible situation that started over, him cutting a weed down in his irrigation ditch. I mean, how does it go from that to, shooting his wife in the head while she's holding her baby? And then there was no accountability. And that's the problem. There is no accountability in government. So, the people have to bring that accountability through public, outcry, really, because they're not holding themselves accountable. And it's becoming extremely detrimental and dangerous to the people of this country. And it's happening, right here in Idaho. So, I mean, I disregard the excitement and hyperbole that people try to make when it comes to comparing what's happening now to Ruby Ridge. Although it certainly could happen, but we're doing everything we can to de-escalate. We're appealing to the federal courts to try to get a check and balance going here against the state courts, and also to law enforcement and all of that. We're doing all we can to try to bring some sense to this.
Ammon Bundy joining us, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. So, and this is no news to you, but the folks at the big hospital monitor this show. Because of our association with you, we've been pretty much labeled persona non grata. We've been labeled domestic terrorists by their security folks and everything else. And I know that because we tried to reach out to them, and they've said, we'll be seeing you. They've also, I can go on and on, but what I'm saying is you're speaking to them directly. Of course, anytime you say anything, what could you say to the folks at St. Luke's and Holland and Hart and everything to cause them to pause this push for continued litigation, as you have publicly said, look, let's come to an agreement, and I got the message, we'll move on. Is there anything that you could say right now that would maybe de-escalate the situation?
Well, Kevin, I have offered to give them everything I own, like just for peace. And I'm very sincere in that. I mean, I've worked my entire life. I built a business, and I've built some tools, and I've sold them, and I made some decent money, and provided for my family. It was a lot of hard work, my entire adult life, and I'm willing to give that to them for peace, but it's not good enough, and so I offer that to them. I offer them, look, just end this. Stop doing what you're doing. Take whatever you want. Stop what you're doing. But you can't take my liberty as well. You can't take my voice away. That you can't have both. You can't have everything I own and strip me from all that I've ever, gained, and, displace me and all of that. You can't have that and my liberty and my voice. But I think they're determined to take both, and possibly even my life. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't need to go into it any further, but that, how can I give more? And I'm offering it to them, literally. CEO Chris Roth, Eric Steidham, the lead attorney. I'm saying I want peace. Like, you can have everything I own. I just am asking for peace, but you have to give me peace. You have to leave me alone, and you have to, you can't take my liberty.
Ammon Bundy joining us, Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Can you hang on for a minute?
Sure.